Silverias, a grade 7 student studying at Parayao National High School. Today, I'm going to tell you a story. The story of Makato and the Cowrie shell. Makato and the Cowrie shell. Once upon a time, there was a boy whose name was Makato. He was an orphan whose father and mother had died when he was very young. He had no brothers, sisters, cousins or friends to take care of him. So he had to make a living for himself. He did every kind of work, carrying heavy things, clearing away the forest or feeding pigs. He never idled over his work, and although he was paid only a small wage, he was satisfied. He knew that if he did not work, he would starve. Wherever he went, his employers praised him for being sensible, hardworking, good-tempered, and cheerful. One fine evening, after he had finished chopping up a big pile of wood, he sat down for a rest and thought all he would like to do in the future. He wanted to try his luck in far-off strange land, for he longed for exciting adventures. "What are you thinking about so deeply, my boy?" asked his employer. "I would like to go on a journey for adventure," said Makato, pointing to the northeast. "I've heard that the land over there is fertile and the people are kind. I wish I could see that the land for myself." His eyes sparkled with excitement. "The land you wish to go to is called Sukhothai," said his employer. "They say Praruyang of Sukhothai is a very kind-hearted king. You might be lucky if you could go there." Sometime later, Makato decided to try his fortune. He left his village and set out into the wide world. He walked along cheerfully, enjoying the new sight and talking to the people he met on the way. After a month's journey, he reached a village on the frontier of the kingdom of Sukhothai. "Please, can I have some water to drink?" Makato asked an old woman with a big water pot on her head. "I'm so thirsty. Where did you come from? Why are you here alone? You look as if you'd come a long way," said the old woman, pouring cold water from her pot into a small cup and handing it to Makato. "Thank you so much," said the boy. "Who are your father and mother? Haven't you any family?" The old woman asked again. "I have neither father nor mother. I come from the city of Moon over there," replied Makato. "Good heavens, have you really come from Moon? How is it that you are traveling alone, such a young boy as you are?" "I wanted to see Praruyang of Sukhothai," replied Makato. "They say he is a very kind-hearted king." "You are determined, boy," said the woman. "Come along with me. Who knows, you might see Praruyang someday." Makato was glad to go with her. If he could work for this kind woman, he would have a place to sleep, some food to eat, and perhaps someday he might be lucky enough to see the king. The old woman's husband was one of Praruyang Mahaus, which meant that he helped look after the hundreds of elephants that the king owned. Makato helped the Mahaus find food for the elephants and clean out the elephant sheds. He worked hard and well, and the Mahaus and his wife were fond of him. One day, the sky was so clear and the weather so fine that it seemed to Makato that it must be a lucky day. As he worked in the elephant sheds, a tall young man in a splendid costume, followed by attendants, came in. It was Praruyang himself. Makato bowed low at once with his hands clasped together before him. His heart beat fast. "Where did that boy come from?" the king asked the old Mahout who was attending him. "He came all the way from the city of Moon," said the old Mahout, bowing. "He heard so much about your majesty that he longed to see you." "How old is he?" "12 years old, your majesty. A good-looking and hard-working boy," said the king. "Take good care of him." As the king walked away, Makato saw a little cowrie shell lying on the ground. He ran to pick it up and held out to the king. But the king said with a smile, "You might keep it." "How wonderful," Makato thought. "The king has given me a cowrie shell." At that time, the people of Sukhothai used cowrie shells as money. Although one cowrie shell had little value, Makato wanted to make as much use of it as possible, for it was the king's gift. For a long time, he could not think of a way to use it so that it would earn more money for him. One day, he passed by a stall in the market where the seeds of many different plants were sold. He looked along the stall and caught sight of a basket full of lettuce seeds. Lettuce? He could grow small plants like that. He asked the jolly-looking woman at the stall, "Can I buy some lettuce seed?" "Oh yes, my boy. How much do you want?" said the woman. "I have 1 cowrie shell," said Makato. "1 cowrie shell?" said the woman, laughing. "That won't buy anything. I can't even measure that much." "Look," said Makato eagerly. "I dip my finger into a pile of seeds. Then I take the seeds that stick to it. That must be about right for 1 cowrie shell." "Well, why not?" said the woman, amused at his suggestion. "All right, boy, help yourself." Makato paid the woman his 1 cowrie shell. Then he put his finger into his mouth and dipped it into a pile of seeds. When he pulled his wet finger out into what was covered with seeds, he carefully scraped them off his finger into a palm of his hand and went away, happily clutching the seeds. Now that he had seeds, Makato broke the soil and sowed them at once. He had watered the seed bed every day, and soon the young plants appeared. Day by day, he cleared more ground and planted more lettuce seedlings until the kitchen garden was covered with them. He was very proud of himself because he had done so well. "I wish I could give the king some of my lettuce," he thought. One day, the king passed by the elephant sheds again. Makato waited his opportunity, then knelt down and proudly presented his biggest bunches of lettuce to the king. "Where did you get these?" the king asked, surprised. "I grew them from the cowrie shell you gave me, your majesty," answered Makato with a beaming smile. "How could you do that?" asked the puzzled king. Makato told the king the whole story. The king was impressed with his intelligence and industry, so much so that later on he gave Makato a job in the palace. As the year passed, Makato grew tall and handsome. He mastered every grace and served the king well. He was so loyal that the king trusted him absolutely. He was promoted to higher and higher positions until he was given the title of Conwang, which means that he was the most important person in the king's court. He was also happily married to a beautiful young daughter of the king. After that, the king made him the ruler of Moon. So it was that Makato, who had once been a poor orphan, became the king of that prosperous kingdom.